Someone announced that there was going to be a preschool day, a day that everybody go over and get acquainted and see what they were going to be doing at school. That was set up in advance. And I had told Jim Arrigo about it, and he wanted to know if it would be all right if he and Santo went with us. And he didn't know the way over there either. So I said, sure. Well, anyway, the day showed up, and Mom and I and Rosie went along. And we stopped by the store, and Jim and Santo joined with us. And we walked over to the Riley School. They took us on tour, showed us where the classroom was going to be, told us a little bit about what we could expect. Got acquainted with Miss Graff, who was going to be my teacher. It was her first year teaching in the public schools, but she, as we would later find out, was going to have a long tenure. I also met Rosie's teacher, Mrs. Gates. She was a long-termer. And I met Mrs. Houston, the principal, who also taught the 3rd and 4th grade, and got acquainted with just about everybody. So then we left the school and came on back home, put that event to bed. The next time I went, I'd hike it over there alone, or with Santo, or Rosie, or whoever happened to be going that way. Mom was a great seamstress and made a lot of our clothes. Did a beautiful job on them and very unique styling. When the day came for me to start school, Rosie and I went to school together, and with matching velvet outfits. I had a pair of velvet short pants and a jacket and a satin ruffled shirt. Rosie looked real nice in hers, but I didn't think that was all that great for a guy like me to be dressed like that. They were cute. And I had to admit that I looked pretty nice in the mirror. Of course, the boys' room had that full-length mirror. I could see what I looked like. And everybody else was wowed by the whole thing. But I found it just a little bit embarrassing to be a little Lord Fauntleroy. That wasn't my nature. I complained a lot to Mom about that event, and we agreed that I would just wear those clothes on special occasions and get back to something a little more conventional for my day-to-day clothes. So that worked out all right. So now I was ready to settle down to the routine of attending school. And that would be eventful like many other things, but nothing spectacular. The Riley School had a full-time custodian to fire the boiler, clean the school, ring the fire bell for fire drills, and help do any of the chores at the school. His name was Mr. Bailey, and every student knew him by that name. He would run the flag up the flagpole every morning and take it down every night. There was always a group of kids standing around watching and listening as he made a little ceremony out of this event. He helped teach respect for the flag to a lot of students. He would stand by the entrance door when it had rained to make sure everybody had scraped the mud off their shoes. He didn't allow any horseplay or anyone to run up and down the stairs. He was an important part of the school discipline. The school teachers and all the students just treated him like a member of the family. I remember on Christmas, the classes would get together and go over and stand in front of his little house, which was just down the block, and sing Christmas carols for Mr. Bailey and his wife. It was quite an association. One of our great pastimes was provided the Holder Street that went in front of the house. We always had great vantage points to watch the cars go by. Identifying each and every car was an ongoing game. There were Fords, Lincolns, Oldsmobiles, Pontiacs, Buicks, LaSalles, Cadillacs, Studebakers, Packards, Pierce Arrows, Stutzes, Auburns, Cords, Moons, Chalmers, Nash, Rio, Essex, Hudsons, Marmons, Franklin air-cooled, and an occasional Edison or Franklin electric, Stars, Hupmobiles, Willis, Whippets, Chryslers, DeSotos, Dodges, Plymouths, and many others. Many of these went out of business over the years, but we sure had a bunch of them to memorize. In the wintertime, the brick pavement would get very, very slick with ice and snow. The cars going down the hill and making the turn onto 48th Street would slip and slide out of control. Most of the cars had wood spoke wheels and did not survive a bad slide into the curb. The city would spread their ashes from their coal-fired electric generating plant onto the corner, and the entertainment would slow down for a while. City buses went by every 15 minutes, and their back end would swing over the curb and hit a mailbox or telephone pole. A lot of people put chains on their cars to get around when it snowed. It was the only means of being sure you'd get there and get back. When we had enough snow to provide good cover on the back roads, which were all dirt, Earl Schrepp would start up his sleigh rides. He'd have horse-drawn wagons with runners to replace the wheels, parked east of 48th Street on Aldrich. Small groups or large groups would pay 10 cents a head for a nice long ride. We'd hang around down there and hope a sleigh would be ready to go out, but only have a few riders. We could bum a ride if we played our cards right. We'd scoop up the horse poop to get a chance to go. Most of our late afternoon and evening time was spent sitting with a Spartan radio console, listening to programs like Little Orphan Annie, Jack Armstrong and the All-American Boy, Jimmy Allen and Steve Gibson and their flying adventures, Buck Rogers and his rocket ship adventures, Ken Maynard, Tom Hicks, Gene Autry and their cowboy adventures, the Lone Ranger and Tonto, Frank Buck and his Bring 'em Back Alive Wild Animal Adventures, and many other radio serials. These are just just 15-minute programs, but they were on 5 days a week. The news hour was at 5:30, and then we all ate supper together at the same time every night. After supper, it was nighttime radio. The Lux Radio Theater, the GE Theater, G-Men, Amos and Andy, George Burns and Gracie Allen, Fred Allen, the Texaco Fire Chief Theater, Death Valley Days, Lum and Abner, Grand Ole Opry, and an occasional boxing match, and many other choices. These programs, both afternoon and evening, really challenged your imagination to listen and picture in your own mind the scenes in the program. Each listener created their own fantasy. It was a real mind builder. Too bad it's gone. You get so mentally involved in these programs that if a scary place came by and somebody poked you, you'd jump out of your skin. Nobody would ever be talking. Everybody would be sitting there just quiet as a mouse, listening to every word that was said. They were busy picturing it in their own mind. It really is a shame that those things are gone forever. You get a